So that was a very easy 200-kilometer drive this morning on the autobahns, and here we are by the Elbe River in a place called Pirna, where we're going to start 3 days of walking in an area called the Malerweg. The car was incredibly efficient this morning. I wasn't driving like a granny or anything, but by the time we'd got here, say 200 kilometers on, 12.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is 4.9 miles kilowatt hour. I mean, yeah, you've got to be a bit careful on these de-restricted German autobahns. You get occasionally, and they seem to follow each other, cars doing like 200 kilometers an hour, and I suspect a bit more. Unbelievable. But the roads are really flat and smooth most of the time. Not quite as good and consistent as the French autobahn, where you're restricted to 130, but regularly get people doing 160, 70, 80, even to say 200 kilometers an hour. So 2 days later, having left the car in a car park right by the River Elbe, didn't cost us anything. We did 2 days of hiking in the Malerweg, which is absolutely exhausting. We are aching. Everything hurts. We've been up some incredible step. You know, you just keep going up and up and up and then down. Some really interesting rock formations, and the forests are just beautiful. Walked through miles and miles of forest. I think we've probably done about 25-30k in the last couple of days, but it's been a lot of up and a lot of down. So we're just charging the car back up to 80%. Going to head off for our last night here before we make our way to Prague tomorrow. Have noticed that the fuel here is still comfortably over €2 a litre, whereas in France, since the orange mob boss in the White House has done his deal with the Iranians, it has fallen below €2 in France. Anyway, off we go again. So this is our last morning in the Malerweg. We had a few days without needing to use the car, and we're off to Prague now. So Prague is actually only 136 kilometers from here, according to the sat-nav. We stayed in some very interesting places here in Germany. Everything from a rather run-down attic room where you had to go downstairs to use the bathroom. It's like a 1950s East German sort of building, to this beautiful place here where we had our own apartment. We had a really lovely hotel in Jena. Yeah, we've had all kinds of different places we've stayed, and it bodes well for a couple of nights in Prague. So we're setting off now. So we've just gone into the Czech Republic, which is a new country for the e-Niro. Left the hotel at 72%, 367 kilometers on the range, so we don't have to worry getting all the way to Prague. So we just arrived at a hotel in Prague. It's 120 kilometers. we decided to take the back roads, not use the tolls, and we drove through some really interesting country. A lot of it was along by the river, Elbe River, and we also drove through some really not very nice, quite smelly industrial towns. But the amazing thing is 10.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is just under 6 miles per kilometer. And I was just keeping to the speed limits. Some of the country roads are a bit up and down, and along by the river it was just flat, of course. So really amazing efficiency, and still got like 245 kilometers left on the GOM. So anyway, we're a bit early, can't check in yet, so we're going to have to amuse ourselves in Prague. So we're at a AC charging place just down the road from the hotel in Prague, and it's 12 Czech krona a kilowatt hour, which is about 50 euro cents. So arrived here at 53%. Plugged in while we were swimming and using the sauna and the steam room at this wonderful hotel. It's 82%, just over 400 kilometers of range. We're off to Nuremberg tomorrow morning, and I just thought I'd plug it in before we get on the tram and make our way into Prague Old Town. This afternoon we're going to a music concert tonight. Yeah, Prague's lovely. I've been here before. Caroline, that's Mrs. e-Niro, hadn't. So we're going to explore the old city. So after a couple of days in Prague, we're back on the road again, heading towards Nuremberg. Prague, interesting, but very touristy. And we're just on this first bit of motorway coming out of Prague, and there's been lorries on the other side for at least 5-6 kilometers now. All the cars are coming past in the other lane, but really not sure what this is all about. Unbelievable number of lorries. Yeah, really strange. Anyway, we've got about 300 kilometers to do. We're not going to get the efficiency that we had coming into Prague from the Malerweg, which was amazing, because it's hot, it's air conditioning on, and it's motorway driving. So anyway, we've got 270 left to do to get to Nuremberg. We're going to have a night in Nuremberg. So we've done about 132 kilometers, hour and a half. Getting out of Prague was tricky, and going on these Czech motorways, you get services and a sign with a petrol, but they don't tell you there's any electric car charges. Now we wanted to stop anyway, just to have a break. We're about halfway to Nuremberg now, and there's all these chargers. The oil company selling the fuel are called Orlen, and the rapid chargers here, they're 300 kilowatt rapid chargers. and they're all N as well, but they don't show up on any maps, and they don't tell you along the motorway. They give the sign for the petrol pump, but they don't tell you that there's electric car charging here. So we're up on a bit of a hill, there's all these chargers. The other funny thing is that on the Charge Map app, it sees these chargers, but it says they're not Charge Map compatible. But I've just used my Charge Map card, it's charging away quite happily. Started at 60%. We're in no rush, so I'm going to let it run up to 90, because I had an AC charging session back in Prague end this morning, and I don't know if it ended because I accidentally pressed the button when we were having breakfast, because you can see the charging session from wherever you are on your phone. But when I got back, it said AC charging session terminated, and it hadn't. It should have still been running. Anyway, don't know if I got a problem with my onboard charger. Anyway, there we are, beautiful Czech countryside with Caroline, Mrs. e-Niro there. There she is. We just stopped and have a cup of tea. Yeah, tea in Czech Republic. Pretty good. Go in e-Niro. Now, 10 to 7 in the morning in Nurnberg. We decided to leave early because there was no air conditioning in the room and it was really hot.
Turn right onto Marienstrasse, Marientunnel, then turn left onto Regensburger Strasse.
And we've got about 450 kilometers ahead of us. So we had a really early start in Nuremberg. We were, I don't know what we were on. We had about 260 of range. Yeah, German autobahns, quite tricky. Sometimes you're on de-restricted and you don't really know, and somebody's coming up behind you at 160, 200 kilometers an hour. We've stopped at this place. Charging is called MER. I think I've used those before. Charge Map card works. No idea what it's going to cost me. But when we were on the autobahn, it was saying, yeah, there's a services, and you come off, and where is it? Nowhere to be seen. And in the distance, we could see this Shell sign with a knife and fork. And we went into one place, and it was just lorries. And then we had to go down a country lane, come back on ourselves, and we eventually found these chargers, and we were down to 29%. It's still only 8:45 in the morning. There was no air conditioning in the room. It was broken, and hotel. It is a 8-story hotel in the centre of Nuremberg. So I didn't get that much sleep. But I just thought, well, you know, we were up at 5:30. We just as well get going. So that's what we did. And yeah, so just got over 400 kilometres now of range. Still got about 350 to do to get into France, to where we're staying tonight. But at least this place had some sandwiches. I didn't feel inclined to pay the hotel for breakfast because it wasn't very good. The air conditioning wasn't working, and generally didn't like their attitude. So I thought, no, not going to give them any more money. Spend it in a stop-in place. This is actually a big Shell station but there's not Shell recharge EV charging here. Very strange. So 315 kilometres driven, about 140 to go, but we're getting into the mountains, and stopped at this charging place, and there are two 150 kilowatt chargers. One was free, but someone was pushing behind me, and I saw this 50 kilowatt one. I thought, well, that'd do. You know, we were on 48%. 50 kilowatt charger gets, I'm charging at 47 kilowatts now at 63%, 310k, that's enough. I'm going to give up and unplug and carry on into France. We're almost back in France now. Had enough of Germany, really. Parked next to a very nice Skoda Elrock. Had a Dutch family, had a chat with them. They really liked the car. It looks great, actually. Skoda Elrock. So crossing the Rhine into France, back into France. Still got 120 kilometers to do to get to our destination today.